Yeah, we probably won't see that.
No, definitely not. And these guys, I don't think they really came to play each other earlier. So I know that Mr. E went to Glitch 2. I don't know if WaDi went. It was only a few weeks ago, but I don't think that these guys played. I'm not sure if they played before in the past either. So I think this might be a new matchup to see. They're both under the Smash Studios banner, so I imagine that they have experience against each other, but maybe not in tournament. Yeah,
they were just playing a few games backstage, so I think that just already goes to show the relationship between these guys. They're cool with each other. They're friends. They're not going to make this some try-hard, like, of course they're trying 100%, but there's no bad blood, there's no animosity. Like, it's even at the point where they would have played with each other with their mains and showed all their tech right before this, and now they're sitting down to play a best-of-5 set, so this is where it really counts.
Absolutely.
And Mr. E also notably first-place finisher at Glitch 2.
Yep, he actually took it in a nail-biter of a set between him and Pink Fresh, and now he's going to be trying to retain some of that magic, bring it out against WaDi. Yep. One of the things you're going to notice in this matchup, and really about WaDi in general, is that he has a very, I don't want to call it linear, but he has a very defined neutral. He'll stand with his back to the ledge, charge that Shadow Ball. If you come in, he'll either do a grab or a down tilt. But he's got kind of a static neutral. He makes it work, but I want to see if Mr. E can kind of capitalize on that. Yeah,
and Mr. E, I'd say very the opposite. He's an extremely erratic player, always going for crazy dash dances and movement techniques. Oh! The perfect spacing with that bait. It's like, oh, man, I'm going to drift in with this neutral air, try to shield grab me, but no, he pulled back at the last second, perfectly spaced for that tipper fair.
That was insane. And one of the things is that, that's a common tactic with a lot of characters, is going for that drift-in aerial and then drifting back and getting hit with that forward smash, but Marth just gets so much more mileage out of it because of the nature of that tipper. Right now he's at 111. WaDi's going to have to do something to get this kill. One of the things that we saw him do a lot yesterday was actually up tilt into up smash. I know he got that a lot against Ally. I'm not sure if it'll work against Marth, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and that weak hitbox of the up tilt is essential for landing those kill moves afterward. And Mewtwo just has so much raw kill power. I'm surprised to see Mr. E even living this long to begin with.
Exactly.
Ooh, barely lives that. No rage can actually make you survive a lot longer to the up throw than you'd think.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that he popped out of that, especially because, it can't even be a DI mix-up because the throw is so long. So right now we see WaDi doing kind of what WaDi does, where he resets the neutral constantly. He just kind of runs the other side of the stage, resets his situation. But it looks like Mr. E is just kind of smothering him with these hitboxes.
And Mewtwo just so light, man. It's absolutely criminal. Every time he takes one of those tippers, that's like a tenth of his life force gone. Yep. Oh, he has no invincibility if he grabs the edge again, but WaDi not even going to give Mr. E the chance to trap him. Just fighting back now. We've got a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, this is great. He's got stage control. Good stuff on him for not shielding.
Did he just hit disable in the air?
He did.
I've seen that maybe like 5 times in my Smash career.
Yeah. And this character's been around since 2001.
Exactly.
So,
4 of them were in Melee when I was a kid trying to figure out how the move worked. Oh, and WaDi clipping Marth's feet on the dissension from the neutral air there. Actually just made this a super close game. One grab could be all the difference, but no, Mr. E is going to take it with the tipper neutral air.
Yeah, that tipper nair is so powerful against a wide character like Mewtwo. You saw WaDi try to jump off the ledge, but with that huge hitbox, it's very difficult. And one of the things that I noticed during Glitch when I got, the pleasure of casting so much at Mr. E's top 8 run, his ledge trap is among the best in the game, from what I could tell. Like, he gets you on the ledge, and there's so little that you can do. He covers so many options with all of Marth's great aerials, and you saw that happen right there.
Yeah, like neutral air, it's a double-sided move. He's got so many ways to hit the jump, to hit the roll, and Mr. E definitely not shy to bust any of his tricks out, even in game 1 of the set. Like, he doesn't care about saving it for game 2, 3, 4, 5, because he knows he's got so much creativity on his side. He could just make something new during the set.
Continual adaptation, definitely.
Yeah, Mr. E definitely one of the most unique players I've ever seen with Marth. I mean, even back in Brawl, this guy was like 14 years old, came out, did a lot of damage at tournaments with a style that nobody was ready for.
Yep. Right now, about even. WaDi with that patented down tilt to forward air. Does a lot of damage and just feels so satisfying when you get that hit. It's so meaty.
And we're talking about ledge traps. Let's talk about WaDi for a second. He has been a fortress when Mr. E is on the edge every single time.
Yep.
And, I mean, Mewtwo just has the range and the mobility to make that work, plus a projectile.
Exactly. And that's kind of one of the things that you see in more top-level games, is that you'll see some players try to ledge trump, so like Nairo on Zero Suit, he'll try to get that back air. But usually, a lot... Oh, wow! Going so
tippers.
Deep for that tipper fair. Good stuff from Mr. E. Chasing WaDi all the way down, letting him know it's not safe anywhere.
WaDi with a chance to retaliate, though. No, actually just going to get caught in a Dancing Blade. And even though you don't take way too much damage from that. You take, 15 to 20, but it takes so long that it does a lot of mental damage in the process.
That's what I always call Toon Link's forward smash, man. That's the tilt maker.
Yeah.
You sit in that for so long, you just let me play. I'm trying to play the games.
Yeah, every time I've been hit by that move, I can relate.
Join hurts.
Been tilted. So, Mr. E trying to bust out some of those trumps back airs. We saw just how strong his tipper aerials are off the stage, especially against a light character like this. But now, WaDi back in the lead.
That string was unreal. Carried him up, then back down, got him up to 60-something%, and now Mr. E is on the ropes. WaDi with full stage control.
Mewtwo is one of those characters, he doesn't have a linear movement pattern. Like, you imagine everyone else goes up, down, left, right. Mewtwo just kind of floats around in whatever pattern he wants. And you're seeing that be just so effective in navigating Marth's giant hitboxes. A lot of characters, if they didn't have that kind of mobility, they would just get walled out.
Exactly. Right now he is a little bit behind Mr. E with the excellent ledge game. He's got him off on the side. WaDi needs to establish stage control again. Tries to go for the nair. It's not going to happen.
Yep, got a big old Marth disjoint in the way and catches the roll with tipper back air. Mewtwo's just so tall that he's going to fall victim to a lot of stuff like that from Marth.
So Mr. E up 2-0 currently against WaDi. All of these sets are best 3 out of 5 in top 32, so we'll have to see if WaDi can make any kind of adjustment. Now, yesterday we saw WaDi against Ally, and WaDi was on the ropes for much of it, but he kind of barely eked out a win early in the set. And then game 3, he took, I think, 7% on Ally's first stock.
Wow.
Just established total control of the stage. And I think that's why he wants to go to somewhere like Final Destination. He's got this huge, expansive land, no platforms to extend Mr. E's kind of ledge game potential. So I think this is a smart pick from him.
Yeah, there's really nowhere to run for Marth on landing now, but the same can be said about Mewtwo. We're talking about how this character struggles against swords just because look at that, his neutral air, it's not very disjointed. It has a disjoint, but not as big as a giant sword from Marth. So now that he has nowhere to run away and land on platforms to mix that up with his amazing aerial mobility options, we could just see Mr. E get extended juggles too, and this counter pick might come back to haunt WaDi.
Definitely. And what we're seeing is Mr. E kind of chasing WaDi around. WaDi has been known to kind of abuse Mewtwo's great defensive options. Mewtwo has a great air dodge and a great back roll. Not so much forward roll, but you can see him just kind of shifting around the stage. Mr. E's been kind of locking him down with some dancing blades, making sure that he doesn't get away with no percent on his under his belt.
If I had to describe WaDi's playstyle in 2 moves, I'd say Shadow Ball and Back Roll. And that's exactly what we're going to be seeing so much of, especially on this stage. It's flat. He can't get surprisingly jumped in on or something from above.
Definitely.
It's definitely going to be just a straight fight between these two. And Mr. E has been showing so much dominance, man. If you're talking about making some adjustments between the match, maybe WaDi needs to zip up his sweatshirt or something, because I don't think the stage is going to do the trick.
Oh, there's that tipper there. Tipper forward smash. Mr. E only at 50%. He is not really anywhere close to dying. And like you said, this is kind of where WaDi's counter pick could come back to haunt him. He's got a lot of work to do before Mr. E is going to perish.
Oh, but that's a lot of work in one combo. No, actually just gets stuffed on the Shadow Ball. I'd say a lesser player probably would have thrown an air dodge and gotten caught by that projectile, but Mr. E with no fear of his crewmate here.
Definitely just hitting buttons, throwing out the forward airs, any aerial that he can on landing.
Oh, I was expecting an up smash out of shield there from WaDi, but instead he's going for the complex stuff. Neutral airs into footstools.
Yeah, that footstool into disable is super potent. The thing is, it's not always reliable, as you saw there.
Yeah.
He got it in the wrong direction. That absolutely would have been a kill. I'm wondering if he's going to try for it again. Forward air almost killing, 129 currently on Mr. E.
And WaDi just no fear of throwing these Shadow Balls. Even if he's got it all the way charged up, he's like, whatever, I can get another one.
Let it rip, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that's striking some kind of fear into Mr. E. Got him scooped up into the grab. Of course, half the reason you're throwing those Shadow Balls isn't even to hit, it's to condition your opponent to block.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what Mewtwo thrives off of.
So WaDi right now, he's got stage control. Let his feet off the ground a bit. I feel like if he wants to win this match and the rest of his set, he's got to stay grounded unless he gets, an opportunity like that on a down tilt.
I thought he was going to go for the hardest read on that air dodge and just spike Mr. E. Yeah, but it was a very risky play because he could have gotten up the stage like he wasn't ready.
Whoa!
WaDi putting himself on the board after a pretty dominant start in that match for Mr. E.
Yeah, Mr. E was definitely cruising along. He looked like he was on the course to, get that 3-0 victory over WaDi, but WaDi had something to say about that. Excellent spike on the ledge. Mr. E going to have to think about this counter pick. Probably going to go to something a little bit smaller. I'm thinking like a Dreamland, Town and City maybe.
Yeah, definitely reduce the size of the map in my opinion. I mean, that was like a game of cat and mouse. Or more like cat and Marth, except the cat was the mouse, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
Mewtwo
deep.
was just running everywhere. Mr. E had to chase him down, and of course, Marth, very quick character. Fastest walking speed, one of the fastest dash speeds, big sword. I mean, he can get around, but Mewtwo is just so ambiguous with where he's going to land.
Yeah.
WaDi was able to just evade damage for so long, and he pulled it off. So props to him putting himself on the board here, 2-1. Let's see where Game 4 takes us.
Looks like we went to the extra tab. Dreamland was considered.
You so extra.
Let me go to the extra stage. Like, oh,
All
and
right,
wow,
well,
so
back
Final
to FC.
Destination going right back. Mr. E saying, well, it wasn't the stage why I lost. You know why he would pick this in his counter pick?
No, honestly, I don't, and I don't think it's like a disrespectful or like salty run back kind of thing. Oh, yeah, I could beat you on the stage. You just beat me on, whatever. But I don't know. These guys probably have the utmost respect for each other as teammates.
Yeah.
Wearing that same hoodie. Maybe
Yeah,
WaDi's
but-
like, nah, man, the ventilation is good. I'm leaving it open.
Well, I mean, that just means that WaDi's double repping because he's got the SS hoodie, but he's got the SS shirt.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
See, that's why he's staying alive in this set. But not for long, perhaps, because Mr. E is off to another amazing start, and this is Deja Vu, Cody, except just in reverse.
Gosh, it's the exact same thing. Excellent forward smash from Mr. E. Now, this is kind of how the first game started. Mr. E had 50% when WaDi lost his first, and WaDi was able to bring it back. If he's able to keep his feet on the ground and hold center stage, he might be able to bring this back. Mr. E going to do what he can to stop that.
And when you see people like Mr. E throwing that forward smash, he's only throwing it when he knows it's going to work. I'd say he has like almost 100% success rate in the set with landing them.
Yep.
It's such a quick move to come out, but it's still a really huge commitment on ending, and a character like Mewtwo can make you pay dearly for missing one. So that's why he's not just throwing it out all willy-nilly, even though it can kill at 60%.
It's really impressive when you consider the fact that Marth's usually, you know, they'll kind of throw it out if anybody's around that area, and they might get punished. Maybe no. Mr. E has, like you said, that 100% success rate, man. He's not throwing it out unless he's absolutely certain that it's going to hit.
And WaDi getting that comeback train started right now, only 31% down. He just played virtually a perfect stock. Oh, and he just couldn't reach him. That
Right
dash
now,
attack could have continued to string in a big way.
Mr. E just throwing out these aerials, man, keeping WaDi in the air and juggle. WaDi getting through with that air dodge, but still paying the price.
Yeah, confusion, very often not safe on hit if your opponent just disrespectfully throws an aerial in
It's
your
a button,
face.
yeah.
Oh, no! WaDi looked like he wanted to go for a down tilt, but he just crouched in place facing the wrong way. I mean, that's definitely a little bit of tournament nerves. You know he could get that turnaround down tilt on any day of the week otherwise. But instead, he's going to actually go out, partially because of that mistake. That was the exchange that ended in his defeat. So.
Yeah, it kind of sent him back on the ropes, and he was just reeling the rest of the time. The thing about Mr. E is that if you give him that opening, it doesn't seem like he can really combo a lot, but instead he just puts you in these really uncomfortable positions where you're off the ground. You kind of have to get back to the ground, but if you air dodge, you know that you're going to take damage, and he's so good at covering that, even on a character like Mewtwo.
Yeah.
So it's a bad scene, but good stuff to Mr. E, taking it 3-1 over his SS brethren.
He's going to advance to winner's round of 16 now, so guaranteed minimum 13th place. WaDi going to have to fight his way out of the loser's bracket Shark Tank, man.
That's tough.